Kansas City Chiefs fans, you've waited your whole life for moments like these. So tonight in Phoenix, Arizona, heroes will be made and lives and careers will be changed forever. The Chiefs on the precipice of immortality. Welcome to Super Bowl 57. Welcome to Kingdom Kickoff. Guys, it's been a journey all season long, and it culminates Rich Baldinger, Shaggy Shane Williams, Noah Bruniger tonight in Phoenix, Arizona. Rich Baldinger, welcome. Hello. How's it going?
Ready for the rumble in the desert, folks. About 5.5 hours to when the action hits. Bring whatever you want, the tarantula, a snake, whatever you want. But we got MVP and Patrick Mahomes. Congratulations, number 15. Hey, Joe Montana, try winning MVP without Jerry Rice. Terry Bradshaw, how about if you lost Lynn Swann? Let's see what you would have done. Patrick Mahomes, folks, today we're going to stick it in their ear. I am so tired of hearing people. Is he really that good? Is this man deserve the MVP? We're going to stomp on you. Folks, I'm pissed. I am pissed that people would even challenge whether Patrick Mahomes is MVP. Yeah, let's roll.
Preach it, Rich, preach it. We've been watching your greatness from 1983 to 1992, back in the first ever primetime game at Arrowhead Stadium back in September of 1983 when I was 13 years old and Carlos Cawson took a wide receiver screen and chucked it 50 yards down the field to Anthony Hancock when the Chiefs were playing the San Diego Chargers on Monday Night Football. Fast forward 29 and a half years, your Kansas City Chiefs are in their third Super Bowl in the last 4 years. Your Patrick Mahomes is in his second MVP. Baby, let's do it. We didn't come here just to kick it. We came here to party and take home the Lombardi. What you say, Noah?
Absolutely, guys. I am loving this energy. And, man, there's a lot at stake here for legacy. This kind of screenshot that I'm going to show you is if the Chiefs win the game, what's at stake here? Patrick Mahomes will have a better start than what Tom Brady has done over his career, only 5 seasons starting. If the Chiefs win this game, he's already got the 100% years in the conference championship game at home. That graphic does not show at home, all of those, all 5 in a row. And this would be 60% of the years that he's in the league. He's in the Super Bowl, and then 40% years as champion. So there's a lot on this. If he goes 1-2, those numbers drop drastically. So he's got to go 2-1. This is for legacy. This is for everything. We know what happened in Super Bowl 55, the 31-9 devastation against Tom Brady. But, man, we are here. It is Jalen Hurts, and we have got to get this one done.
I'm ready. We got to do it. Yes, the rookies are going to be the big test. Noah and Clint, you have both nailed it all week long, talking to Jalen Watson, talking to Joshua Williams, getting to know the background of Chief Secondary Coach Dave Merritt. You guys came strong, and it was great to hear those two rookies who don't know any better. This is just another game to them. They're going out there. The people are hyping it on Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams and Trent McDuffie, saying, hey, this is the Super Bowl, but it's just another game to them. To these rookies in the secondary, it's just another game. It's just another football game the second Sunday in February. What do you think, Rich?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to take a sidestep to my motion, and I am going to give one guy credit, and he is part of the enemy, and Jalen Hurts, for what he went through in college. Okay, he lost the championship in his freshman year, loses his starting job his sophomore year, out junior year, not even play. Senior year comes out, loses to Joe Burrows there in his senior year. And this guy's never quit. He's fought and he's fought and he's fought. And this is the reason why Philadelphia is back, because they got him playing at a level. So this, coach, from a big picture, is going to be a classic Super Bowl. This is one you're going to watch forever and ever, and think that maybe when the Chiefs win, don't have to worry. It's not going to change, but they will win in this one. But again, 2 quarterbacks coming from different directions that have come to the top of the National Football League, the best in their business. What else would you want to watch on Sunday afternoon?
Absolutely. And Rich, we have a question here in the comments, and I'm going to kind of ask this 2 different ways. What rookie do you think it will have a big game? And then, Rich, what rookie do you think needs to have a big game?
I think if we're going to look, let's just look. Oh, God. You know, A.J. Brown is such a phenomenal receiver. We're going to bracket him. You got to bang on this guy. I mean, physically, you got to grab his face mask and anything else you can hold on to because he's so strong. He's so good in running full speed and creating separation by just banging into people. Reminds me of the crash derby they used to have on Saturday afternoons. This guy, got to go after him. So how we match up, but this is going to be kind of interesting, though, to answer this question, because I'm going to throw you, this is my spin on this game. I love Jalen Hurts, and I've just told you why. But the one thing I don't know if this guy can do, I know he can run, but can he move in the pocket? I look at the blitz coming heavy today. Coach Spagnola's got nothing to lose. You got rookies, you got to help them out. But let's go hit this Jalen Hurts. Is he really healthy? Is he really, or is he still banged up? I want to hit this guy in the kisser a few times. You know, they want to bring this zone read stuff in. Let's make him pay for it. Look for the blitz heavy. I'm seeing Snead coming from everywhere and anywhere. And believe me, when you only have a week and a half to get prepared for all these different blitzes, not a lot of time. I think we have success today. Does that answer your
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen and children of Chiefs Kingdom, we know over the last 2 weeks what the Philadelphia Eagles bring to the table. We've seen the pomp and the circumstance from Phoenix, Arizona all week. Noah and I had a chance to talk to many of the Chiefs players, including Patrick Mahomes himself, all through the week. And, you know, we know what this roster is, Rich Baldinger. We know top to bottom what the Eagles bring. You talked about Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown on the outside. The Eagles, one of the best running teams in the NFL. The Chiefs, the 8th-ranked rush defense. So Rich, which part of the ball for the Chiefs is going to be the most important? Is it the Chiefs' offense? Is it the Chiefs' defense? Is it the Chiefs' special teams? And which matchup do you think favors Kansas City the most in this game?
I think I'm going to surprise some people. I'm going to tell you what, I think we're going to make it noisy and get after him in the trenches. Hey, Fletcher Cox, I think, has seen the better side of his football career. I think Hargrave's a good pass rusher, but he don't like it when you get physical. Break down all the games, folks. Go back to San Francisco in the playoffs. During the regular season, look at Jacksonville that decided to run the ball. Look at the Washington in the game that they lost, Philadelphia. You look at New Orleans. You even look at the Giants, went 128 yards and could have done more, but they just got behind, so they didn't have the chance to run the football. I think this team, even though they brought in Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, they still can't play the run. They want to run up the field and try to get the quarter. Well, you know what? It's just time to make sure these guys have on 2 chin straps, because when they get hit in the mouth, I'm looking for Trey Smith to have a great game today. I'm looking at inside zone. I'm looking at counter, and I'm looking at some physical action. Let me tell you something. Philly's going to look like a cheesesteak that's been sitting outside for about an hour. You know, it gets all soft and gooey and kind of bread falls apart. That's what I'm seeing from the Eagles about the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, and Clint talked about it right there. We're able to talk to some of the players. We're going to go to just a couple of our videos here. Clint was able to ask Patrick Mahomes just kind of how different the feel was from Super Bowl 55, just getting there a couple days before the game, and then this whole week, as Clint likes to say, the pomp and circumstance of a whole week of Super Bowl 57, just how those are kind of different from each other.
Patrick, how's this been different from 2 years ago? You go to Tampa 2 days before the game. You don't have all the pomp and circumstance and all the events and stuff like that. How's this been kind of different for you? Has it been better in a way?
Yeah, it's cool to get to do the full week again. It's a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm happy our guys are getting to experience that. And but now they got to make sure that they're getting everything done the right way. It is a lot for guys, and so for me, I had a better plan. I was able to get more sleep. I've been able to kind of enjoy it a little bit more, but still get the studying in I need to. And so I'll just continue to teach those guys as we go, and it kind of calms down after today. And so I'm glad our guys will be able to lock back in and get ready for the game.
Yeah, you heard it right there. Patrick Mahomes talking about kind of their experience already going through this. They can help those young rookies kind of learn how to schedule their time, get enough sleep in, and get locked back in as we got Friday, Saturday, and now right before the game. And then I was able to talk to Frank Clark and ask him, just how is playoff Frank Clark different? Because he smells the blood in the water come playoff time, and there's just a different Frank Clark on the field. So here's Frank on that. Frank, you're third in the postseason history in sacks, right behind Bruce Smith and Willie McGinnis. They say sharks are born in water, but it comes playoff time. You smell that blood in the water, and there's a different Frank Clark. Explain playoff Frank Clark.
I come, show up, and show out. I take pride in being the show. Things happen during the season. The season is longer than the playoffs. You understand that everything done during the season is in preparation for the playoffs. You can be a player on IR in the season. You probably coming off of IR during the playoffs. That's just how it is, man. You bring your best out. Coaches, every organization is doing whatever they can and trying to figure out what they can do and which player they can grab that's available. And everything is, a strategy, because most teams got 3 games left or 4 games left and the season's over. So for me, I just take advantage of it all. I feel like in 4 games, or 3 games, however it may play out, if you can't give your all for those last 3 games and just win to go home, if you can't put it all on the line and sacrifice it all, no matter if you're hurting or not, no matter what you're going through or not, then that's just, if it's not in you, it's not there. You can't just wake up on Sunday morning and go ahead and find it, or wake up in the playoffs. That's just something that's been there my whole career. I just been able to execute efficiently. I'm able to play way more freer. The game plan changed a little bit more in the playoffs. It's kind of geared towards, letting me free up and do some other things except for scheme stuff. You watch during the season, I did a lot of dropping.
Yeah.
Do a lot of dropping. You hear people, oh man, he was dropping in coverage, all these different wide receivers. Like, man, I don't care about that stuff. I just care about helping my team. And just being in a position to get to this point. Because I know once we get here, I can have my way. You know what I mean? And once I get to the playoffs, you're able to free up, do the special things I'm able to do, set up some, unique situations, move me around, and that's the best part of football that I play.
Rich, kind of take us into what he was saying there. He's able to free up during the season. He's dropping back, covering receivers, but it sounds like he's allowed to be more himself during playoff time and free up himself as well as other guys.
Yeah, give Frank Clark credit, man. He is Superman in the playoffs. When it comes to push comes to shove underneath the bright lights, this guy is great in setting up his opponent. He has plans on how to attack them and find their weakness. And I think today that's what you're going to see. You're going to see movement of people across that defensive line. They're going to be putting them in gaps. They're going to make sure Jalen Hurts spends as much time looking around, who's coming where, who's the big man, who's a rusher, who's not, who's responsible. I don't think Sanders is that good of a pass protector back there at the running back position. I think that's how we're going to create the mismatches. But give credit to Frank Clark. When you watch him during the game, he'll work upfield, underarm speed, and then all of a sudden he comes right underneath on you. So he's great at that, creating a plan of action. And you know what? He gets it done.
Kansas City Chiefs is them. This is about Super Bowl LVII, the gold standard in AFC. When they play their game, they win.
Clint, you're breaking up on us a little bit there, so I'm going to remove you from the stream. Maybe try to come back here with us in a second. But Rich, just going into this game, as a former offensive lineman facing this defensive line that has 70 sacks, they're number 1 in the league. The Chiefs are number 2 at 55, and they go through a lot of guys. Brandon Graham's getting up there in age. I think he's about 34 years old, so he kind of rotates in. He's not the normal starter.
I think Andy had
Robert
him
Quinn
and Fletcher Cox. Didn't he draft both of those guys his last year in Philadelphia, I think, or second to last year? Didn't Andy?
Absolutely. Yeah, he had both of them. Yep.
On that. Yeah, listen, they've got a great rotation. This is what it's all about at any level of football, whether it be high school, college, or pros. You got to have that depth and rotation. You're going to throw the ball 45 times a game, right? The average, I think, is 40 to 45 times a game. Well, maybe not, 35 to 40. One group of guys can't do that. So you've got to have the depth. Give credit to Philadelphia, their management, getting the depth of personnel. But, this is a type of group you got to go run at them. You got to bang on them. If you think you're going to sit back and throw 40 times and not bring in any type of creativity with run game, screen game, or be a balanced offense, it'll be a long afternoon. But remember one thing, though. You got to take care of the football today, and that's what the Chiefs have been doing the last couple of weeks, the regular season, then the playoffs, taking care of the football, creating turnovers. And that's where I think, once you start doing some of those, we talked about the secondary, once you start making some of those turnovers, you start thinking, man, I can do more out here. I don't have to, I get the game now. So I'm looking for one of those guys, the rookies, to have some big plays today for us in terms of maybe it's a safety position. Thornhill, you're going to have a chance to run and help on some of these rookies, probably in the bracket coverage. Let's see if we can't come away with some big plays.
Hey, Rich, with the Super Bowl, you get 2 weeks to prepare. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, they do lead the NFL in sacks, so you have to respect that.
Yep.
How important is it for players like right tackle Andrew Wiley to have that second week to prepare for this entire defensive line to not only get your mind right and your body right, but how important is that second week, Rich?
Oh, I think it's very important. First of all, you just kind of get a week to kind of decompress, kind of get some of your body back underneath. You feel a little better. Then you go out there and you're out there studying film. Every rusher has some particular keys that they're going to give you, whether they're coming inside, spin, way they're looking, way they're leaning, what kind of hand they're leading with. You'll pick it up. And that's what you go out on this week in the Super Bowl week. You go out, and it's not so much about going full speed or anything. You're walking through. It's muscle memory. Okay, I see this. I've got to step here. This is my target on this type of rush. If this happens as a secondary move, this is what I have to do. So it's more about developing muscle memory, kind of do it step by step. Doesn't have to be full speed, but just do it, because when you go out there in a game, then it will automatically happen. That's why I think, most people don't understand this week of practice. It isn't about putting in a whole lot of different things. It's just making sure whatever play you call, are you supposed to be here? Is the receiver supposed to be here? Is a tight end here? You just make sure everybody's in the right position. You're getting all the pieces of the chessboard, but you do that also too with just micromanaging your techniques and knowing who you're going to play against and everything. And you're communicating that with your buddy too, who's ever next to you, Trey Smith. Hey, Trey, if I see this, we might be thinking TE more than ET. So those are the type of things you say. So when you get in the game, it just happens naturally. I hope that answered your question, Shaggy.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Let's see if we got Clint back here. Clint?
Yeah, hey guys, it's tough internet here inside State Farm Stadium. No, I'm not actually inside State Farm Stadium. Definitely wish we were still out in the desert here, but guys, just to be here in Kansas City, to be back and seeing all the excitement. I mean, Shane, for you, this is the third Super Bowl in 4 years. What are your feelings as compared to, say, 2019, when it was our first Super Bowl in 50 years? Here we are. This has become old hat in a way, but yet the feelings are every bit as palpable and powerful as they were 3 years ago for me, Shane. I mean, just how do you feel as a lifelong fan that's been there and done this longer than any of us?
At peace, because we've waited so long, champion and Rich Baldinger's teams in the early 90s, as well as watching them in the 80s, being a season ticket holder for 21 years in a row during that span, specifically to the last three, you don't take it for granted. As a fan, you just can't take it for granted, right? Because Brett Favre's only been to 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers, what, 1, 2, yep. 1? I mean, these great quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes is great. The fact that he's been to 3 in 4 years and has never played a season where he didn't at least get to the AFC Championship game at home, we have to not take it for granted. We have to be at peace with it, because we're grateful. I thank God every day, and we all should, that we have a quarterback that has changed the landscape and the perception of what other people outside of Chiefs Kingdom think of this city, and it's that quarterback. We are in the third Super Bowl in the last 4 years, and in my opinion, to answer that question in totality, Clint, we're playing with house money, because our secondary, in my opinion, is set. This team is set for so many years to come, because they've addressed the secondary. And when tomorrow morning, when we wake up, the Chiefs are going to have a whole lot of salary cap space, and the defensive secondary set. Free agency begins 4 weeks, and we'll talk about that on Arrowhead Allies in 4 weeks. But specifically to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, I don't take it for granted. I love it. I'm at peace with it, and I'm forever grateful. What do you think, Noah?
I wish I could get there, Shane. I feel immense pressure here because if Patrick Mahomes goes 1-2, I listen to too many media pundits and they'll be saying just, oh, Mahomes, he's 1-2 in Super Bowls. What is he? He doesn't perform well in Super Bowls. He's got 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the 2 Super Bowls he's played so far. I need a great game out of Patrick Mahomes. I want him to be the greatest of all time when all is said and done. I want that for him, for Chiefs Kingdom, to have that legacy, to kind of have those bragging rights. And so this means a lot to go 2-1 in Super Bowls, to perform well in a Super Bowl, because in the first 2, he has done enough to get the win against the Niners, but he had those interception in the 3rd quarter and then at the beginning of the 4th that Skip Bayless likes to point out. And then obviously we all know what happened in Super Bowl 55 with the bad offensive line. There was just really no hope there with they tried to play it straight up and didn't come with any quick screen, quick throws. They thought they could just block him anyway and figure it out, and Mahomes would be Magic Man. He almost was. He hit Tyreek Hill, he hit Darrell Williams, he hit Travis Kelce kind of in the face mask. 3 drops when those could have been touchdowns, but I need a great game and I need a win for Mahomes' legacy and Chiefs Kingdom's legacy moving forward.
And I think you can't forget about Andy Reid in this, folks. This is legacy. You know, and listen, if you've seen him all week long in his press conferences, tight-lipped, no emotion, this is everything to him. Whenever you interview, when Andy decides to retire, this is the Super Bowl that he's going to think about. If you don't think the way the Philly fans trashed him when he left, what they said about him and what he did for that organization, if you don't think that doesn't sit in his craw, I think also, too, the way they treated Doug Peterson in terms of firing him after winning a Super Bowl. All coaches want to make sure their coaching tree is treated with respect. So there's a lot to this. And if there's one guy that can design a play that covers every inch of that field, whether vertically or horizontally, we've given now 2 weeks to Andy Reid. Look out, folks. We might have to bring the military in to stop this one, because he's going to find a weakness and he's going to put one of our players in there to exploit it. That's why I think this is the biggest game in Andy Reid's career. He wants to come out with victory.
Well said there, Rich. We have a comment here. We want to thank Mark Macri. I'm going to try that name for coming onto the show. An Eagles fan, Eagles, Eagles. Not so fast, my friend. The Chiefs are going to take this one home, but we thank you for tuning into a Chiefs pregame show. We thank you for coming in. And we also have a comment here. I need Baldy to do a video blog for those of us who have never played the game. I learned so much from him, like using the walkthrough to get muscle memory. We expect that, Rich.
That's scary. If I'm going to start giving lectures in classrooms, we've got enough problems. I won't get into the politics of things, folks. I'll stay in my corner here, save the world. But, hey, I love the fans. Listen, and you know the one thing, Shaggy? Let me say to all you guys. This game is for you people. You were there with us, and when I came here in the 80s, and it was a cold day out there, and we went through some of the worst, and I won't even go through all the names that happened and what's happened with this organization and the changes, the coaches. But this is for you fans. You've stuck with us. You deserve the championship. You deserve the win. You wear this Super Bowl as big as Patrick Mahomes. And that's why I think there's nothing better than Kansas City. This is the biggest college NFL city in the nation. Nowhere else do they have the fan support that we do here. And that's why the victory today is for everybody in Kansas City. And that comes from my heart, folks. I just don't say that. That's the truth. I was there. I saw the passion of these fans. I know what it's about.
Amen,
I love that, Rich. Very well said. Yeah. Shane?
Yeah, amen, Rich. I appreciate that. And we were with you. I was one of the 18,000 fans with you in the mid to late 80s. And when you turned that around with Marty Schottenheimer and Carl Peterson, that was great.
Yep.
And when you guys did what you did during that changeover will never, ever be forgotten. And I appreciate that, Rich. To go back to what you said about Andy Reid, if you compare the coaching staffs, let's just compare the coaching staffs going into this game. You have Andy Reid versus Nick Sirianni. Nothing against Nick Sirianni. He's got a good young team. He's off to a phenomenal start as a head coach, but I'm going to go with Andy Reid. Offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy, as well as secondary coach Dave Merritt, who turned these rookies loose, and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. You know, I just feel the experience, the 2 weeks to prepare is definitely in the Chiefs' corner to have as their favor going into this game. What do you think?
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
to me personally, I think this is defensive coordinator against defensive coordinator. I think it's just Coach Spagnuolo, Coach Gannon. I mean, Everyone keeps talking about this rush of Philadelphia and the players and the talent. Go through Philadelphia's schedule. Tell me a team, and I'll tell you one. Watch the Jacksonville game, folks. Watch it before the start of Chiefs and see what they did before they started making mistakes. There was no answer from Philadelphia's defense. I promise you, they have not seen anything what Kansas City can do in terms of personnel groupings, mismatches, how we align people, the movements, the personnel groupings. It's going to be a nightmare for Philadelphia. And believe me, I don't think Coach Gannon has slept since that NFC Championship game because they're probably still trying to count all the different formations they're going to see here on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've got to get to Clint. You did a Chiefs hype video. Before we get to Rich's keys, before we get to our predictions, let's go to the showcase of the Immortals. Clint, take it away.
Time, no beginning, no end. An infinite procession that humbles our mortality. But there are moments in life that transcend our fate. Memories crafted by gods among men that defy time to forget them. These are the moments that echo through the ages. Always heard, never to grow old. Born of will, they are testament to the strong, the mighty, the eminent. Deities who defy their own mortality to forge an indelible imprint in the annals of time. Like the mythic gods of ancient Greece, they may thrill us, inspire us, at times make us angry, but they will never let us forget them. Tonight is their night, their battle, their moment of ultimate sacrifice. For this is their theater, their altar, their chance for divinity, the showcase of the Immortals.
Goosebumps.
Man, that was beautiful. That was
Academy
beautiful.
Award winner, buddy.
That was beautiful.
All the credit to Classy Freddie Blassie for providing that voiceover. I thought about playing his big hit from the 70s, Pencil Neck Geek, but I thought that may be more appropriate for a night like tonight, guys. And these moments, these events, growing up, watching greats like Joe Montana lead his team down to throw a touchdown to John Taylor, watching the Dallas Cowboys and the dynasty they had, and yearning for that my whole life because football has always meant more to me than pretty much anything in life. No wives, no kids. Football has always been there, and the Chiefs have always been there. And tonight, guys, this is a chance for divinity for this group of people. And I love the confidence of this football team. I love what we're seeing. And are we going to really sit here and for the third straight year have a random one-off NFC team take the Lombardi Trophy home when the AFC is by far the better league? And we've sitting here talking about battling the Bills, battling the Bengals. The Chiefs have been there. They're the gold standard. And to sit there and watch the Bucs, the Rams in a forgettable game last year, and to see the Eagles do it again this year, I can't fathom the AFC not emerging supreme here tonight, guys. So much on the line, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
Dynasty. Can we call it the dynasty here? It is the dynasty. Here in the great Midwest, it's a dynasty on top of the world right now. And, you know, we've always talked about Joe Montana, Tom Brady. Can we please just talk about Patrick Mahomes now and what this team and what Andy Reid and what this organization has done for this town and the fans and everything about it? You know, there's nobody better here. You put it all together, and that's why this is the best dynasty ever in the history of the NFL.
Amen. I'm just thrilled to be here. You know, I love the dynasty talk. You know, as a fan, I'm just grateful to be here. But if we become a dynasty, that's great too. I'm sorry. I'm just loving a Super Bowl win. I love Patrick Mahomes taking us to the Super Bowl and being the MVP. I'm just grateful. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words there. That video got me touched up, emotional. Sorry, Clint.
Shane, that means a lot to me that had such an effect because I always liken these type of events to things that are larger than life. Football, these players that we grew up watching, like you, Rich, it is larger than life for so many people. We look to you guys as superheroes, the same way I looked at like a Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior or the Macho Man Randy Savage or G.I. Joe. You guys are that for so many people, Rich, and the joy that you bring to people, the anger, the venom, the overall emotions, it is real. And I hope you know, Rich, that you had that effect on many people, and it will continue to be that for years and on into the stratosphere until they don't let us play this game anymore, which hopefully is never.
Clint, these players have always been heroes to me. As a kid, I sold hot dogs at the Minnesota Vikings games. After the game, I used to push beer into the locker room for the Vikings. And I remember meeting Ed White and meeting those guys, Carl Eller, Alan Page, and just to sit there and look at these guys, they would stare at me and say, "Are you all right, son?" And I would just be totally without words because they were heroes to me. What they did on the field, how they played, the weather, the elements, the physical ability. We would all go out after the games and try to do everything you saw these players do on the field. So they've always held a special place in my heart and in my mind. And that's why I try to tell players today, you have no idea the impact that you have on kids, teenagers, adults, and senior citizens. And that's what I love about this game.
You know, Rich, really, I'm going to ask you a geek question. Were you at the final game at the Metropolitan when the Chiefs won 10-7 and the fans all ran on the field and tore the goalpost down and carried it up?
No, I was not. I apologize on that one. I wasn't. I still remember the game that the Dallas Cowboys came in and Drew Pearson caught that touchdown pass.
Hail Mary.
That was the last one I remember. But, you know, I've seen some great areas. You learn about this sport. You learn about it. Your parents, you watch games with your father. My father played football in college at the United States Naval Academy. And, you know, you learn about it and then you become older and then you go to college and then you meet some player. I still remember as a rookie playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the end of the game, the third preseason game. The game's over with. I'm walking off the field and I go up to Jack Lambert and ask him if I can have an autograph. Jack Lambert, like he was 100 years old. But that's the impact you have. I mean, you see these players, you see them, they're larger than life. And you just want to just communicate with them because, like you said, they're mentors in your life. You go through tough times and you think about moments you've watched in sports. And it always helped me get through some of the hardest parts of my life that how did they handle this? How would they handle this situation? So athletics and everything, but there's nothing better than what football does. The greatest team sport in the world, and it brings everyone together. And God knows in today's world, we need something, right?
Yeah, for sure. And did you get the autograph? Did you get Jack Lambert's autograph?
Yeah, actually I did. And I please say I had him sign one for my dad too.
That's awesome. I love that, Rich. But we've got to get back to Super Bowl 57 here. And let's go to your keys to victory, Rich, because that's what we all need here for legacy, for Andy Reid, for Patrick Mahomes. Rich's keys to victory.
Yeah, let's just begin with the Chiefs have the ball. How about a fast start? I mean, let's move it, whether it's short passing game, intermediate passing game, finding Kelsey, screen pass. Let's just get that defense of Philadelphia and get them lost in the whirlwind quickly so they're not sure where the ball's coming from, where it's going to, get them on their heels. That will help us because this team, I think, has turned 10 first series opening touchdowns during the regular season, so they know how to set the momentum. On the other side, when you play the Eagles, but you got to have your eye on your key. You're seeing a zone read, option football. Know if you got quarterback, if you're up the field, if you're linebacker, you got the scrape. Get to your spot and wait. Don't worry. Somebody's going to come and hit you. And then the last one, team goals. Most important, folks, when you watch this Eagle team, you give them credit for one thing. When they get a turnover, they know how to change the momentum in the game. Believe me, the San Francisco game, up almost to halftime, was a close game. One turnover changed the whole thing in that second quarter after they lost their starting quarterback. So the Chiefs have done better. We know it's important. You don't want to give an offense like Philadelphia an extra drive. That could be the possible. That's how you will lose this football game.
You know, my prediction when I look at the way that the game is played, you know, I've made it known on my podcast this week, as well as with Arrowhead Allies, my brothers there from Starcade, who, you know, I want to take this time for to do my prediction to thank Noah and Clint for keeping us updated on Radio Row. They went above and beyond in getting these players interviews with Patrick Mahomes, to Jalen Watson, to Frank Clark, and many others, as well as Rich Gannon and the former players.
And
I
Dean
want to thank
Blandino.
Yeah, Dean Blandino. The referee question was an important question that I think the world needed to hear. And major thanks to both you guys for going above and beyond. And I wanted to thank you guys for that before I gave you my prediction. Thank you.
You're welcome, Shane. Thanks for saying that. That
before
means
you
the
go
world
any
to us,
further,
Go ahead.
Say a prayer to the football gods. The thing that scares me today, folks, is this. Zone read. When is that quarterback a running back, and when is he a quarterback? Does he give himself up but still throw the ball, and Chris Jones nails him? And if one of these SOBs in a striped jerseys throws that flag today, that's what scares me. So if you got a chance, talk to the football gods, and please don't let this become part of the game.
That's why we did this show at 11:30 a.m. So when we end the show, Rich could give that little speech there, and people have plenty of time to get their prayers in before the game. So.
Okay.
And here's my prediction of the game and how it will flow, because it always seems to flow like this with the Kansas City Chiefs in my eyes. The Chiefs will win the toss and defer like they always do. The Eagles will drive 7 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown. The Chiefs will go down the field and kick a field goal. The Philadelphia Eagles will do it again. 7 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown. The Chiefs will then have a long sustained drive and score a touchdown to make it 14-10 near the end of the second quarter. And then it will be game on. Spagnuolo will have 14 plays to see what the Eagles' tendencies are, to see what he's working with, be able to make the substitution and the changes on certain schemes when necessary. And the Chiefs will pull away in the second half and win 34-24. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. What say you, Rich?
Well, I'm looking at this game, and I'm going to go with prediction of 28-17. I think in the first half, they're going to do everything they can to take Kelsey out of the game, but then they're going to find out Juju Smith, Kadarius Toney, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire will play in this football game. They will not have an answer for our running backs coming out of the backfield catching the football. They have not seen anybody all year that way Andy uses our running backs in both the running back and the wide receiver position or from the backfield. But in the second half, Kelsey takes over, 10 catches in the second half, 2 touchdowns in the second half. But I'm going 28-17. I got to agree with you, Shaggy. Maybe one of the opening drives is going to take some adjustments. But I'm going to tell you, on this game, Jalen Hurts is going to take a beating. He is going to be physically sore at the end of this football game. He will need surgery on that shoulder and maybe the other shoulder by the time this one's over with.
Yeah!
I love it, guys. I mean, I've got this one 27-23 Chiefs. I mean, I've got the Chiefs down 23-20. They score a touchdown, and then they're up 4, and the Eagles need a drive all the way to the end zone, and they just run out of time. They can't get it done. Chiefs win 27-23. And I got on offense. This is a Kelsey, McKinnon, and if he can stay healthy, Kadarius Toney game. The quick screens out and in the flat to McKinnon. Kind of get their eyes moving in different directions, try to slow down in that pass rush with Toney moving all around, giving him some jet sweeps and some kind of wide receiver screens. And then Kelsey over the middle, being able to find the holes in the zones, getting open quick, turning around, giving that big frame, that big target to Patrick Mahomes. He hits him quick. 27-23, your Chiefs, Super Bowl 57 champions.
Yeah.
No, I got a phone call from Andy Reid. He wants you to repeat that again for him. So you want Tony.
I'll call him after the show.
Okay.
Rich, I got to promise you this much. I've been on the phone with the football gods for the last 39 years of my life now. So don't you worry about that. I've got a direct line to the man upstairs. And tonight I see it happening. I foresee what is going to be this glorious situation, which is going to be a lower scoring game. If you have time to get over to the state of Kansas and get on your DraftKings app, bet the under, because it's going to be Chiefs 24-21 winning this game. And because I'm going to tell you what, guys, the Chiefs, by the numbers, are the most battle-tested team since 1947. The first team since then to start 8 games against teams with a winning record. The Chiefs have played the Bengals. They played the Buffalo Bills. They played the San Francisco 49ers, who we were told is the best roster in the league. There's nothing you could do. The best defense, scored 44 points in that game. Andy Reid and this Chiefs team, you talk about these rookies, guys, Shane, Rich, Noah, these guys are not rookies anymore. They played 19 games now. They're ready to do this thing. They're going to bring this thing home, and it's going to be 24-21. And I'm ready to have the confetti fall over my head. And Rich, you're a rock and roll guy. Shane, you're a rock and roll guy like me. What song plays over the loudspeakers as confetti falls? It's not going to be We Are the Champions. I'm going to switch it up. It's going to be Top of the World by Van Halen, because we're going to be standing on top of the world as we plant our flag on the summit once again tonight in Phoenix, Arizona.
Sorry,
Amen.
Eagles fans. This isn't Daniel Jones. This isn't Josh Johnson, the fourth string quarterback for the Niners. This is Patrick Mahomes. This is a whole different animal. You haven't faced a Patrick Mahomes. The toughest quarterbacks you faced is a downtrodden, lost Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams and Dak Prescott. And we all know that he underperforms and missed like 4 or 5 games and still led the league in interceptions. You have not faced a Patrick Mahomes, and you will not know how to handle this.
Let me flip to the other side. There was an interview this week, Chris Jones, after he had heard that Patrick Mahomes won the MVP, and he said, we don't really get a lot of the credit. People don't know about us because this is an offensive team and we have the greatest quarterback. Well, let me tell you something, folks. You're going to hear Chris Jones today. You will hear him. He will show up. This is his biggest game because remember, he shows up today, 16.5 sacks on the year. He has a big game. We're looking at 50 to 70 million guaranteed bonus, whether the Chiefs or somebody else. That man will come to play today. Look out. Put your children away because it's going to get ugly. The big man comes hauling, body parts going everywhere. That's where I want to see the matchup inside. Okay? That's where I want to see Kelsey in the middle. You ain't seen nothing yet, buddy. Wait till this man bull rushes you in. He's going to make you 6 inches shorter. That's the action. Look in the trenches, folks. Don't look at them wide receivers. Look in the trenches. That's where the game's going to be won.
Yeah.
Well, Chiefs Kingdom, as we send you off into enjoy the rest of your day's festivities leading into Super Bowl 57, the fewer words spoken, the better, because we've done as much of it as we could here on Kingdom Kickoff to get you ready for this. But you don't need even us. You are ready for this. You're ready for these moments because you've been there all through the years, and we can't thank you enough. I can't thank you guys enough for being on this journey. Last year, the journey ended in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati loss, and today it culminates in Super Bowl 57. So, guys, I'm just grateful to be a part of it. Like Shane said, thank you guys so much, and enjoy Super Bowl 57.
Chiefs, baby!
Absolutely. Go Chiefs!
Let's go!